Just watch, in the light of the reflection of the bird bath. We are all frequency, energy, and vibrations. Our frequencies were made to be in sync with this world around us. But intentionally, the controllers of this realm has worked bit by bit and subtly to disrupt our frequencies and our vibrations, to throw us off sync and harmony with everything around us. Just look at this as one bit of the proof. 432 hertz used to be the musical standard in which instruments were tuned, and it was changed to 440 hertz. Tell me what vibration looks more harmonic. Question your music you listen to, and question everything, friends.
Hello and welcome. Hope you're having a fantastic day. My name's Campbell. This is AutoDidactic. And of course, autodidactic means to be self-educated. And if we're not self-educated, then the only choice we have left is to believe what other people tell us. So today we're going to do a bit of a deep dive into frequency, vibration, all of that kind of stuff. You know, they tell us everything is frequency. Let me know in the comments. Do you believe that? What's your experience been? Because with me, definitely I have experienced that frequency is everything, makes up everything, right? So let's jump in to the wonderful world of frequency.
I'm going to tell you a little secret. If I take a dolphin and I slow it down, it sounds like a monkey. If I take a chimpanzee and I speed it up, it sounds like a mouse. If I take a mouse, slow it down, it sounds like a seagull. If I take a seagull and slow the seagull down, it sounds like a gorilla or a whale. If I take a whale and we speed the whale up, it sounds like birds. Here's some cows. Sped up, they sound like puppies. If we slow crickets down, we're back at birds. Information is transmitted via waves. We can see that, we can hear that. The fundamental is the carrier wave. The harmonics differentiate my voice from a singer. Whales communicate below our hearing, so we have to speed it up to hear it. Our hearing is right here, and above it.
Frickin' bats. I love Halloween.
Frickin' bats and whales and dolphins use higher frequencies to see. They bounce the waves off to get an image. Everything is connected this way. Grizzly bears even sound like humans.
Wow, what did you think of that? That was interesting, all the different sounds, but it's true, right? It's just all frequency at different vibrations or wavelengths, whatever you want to call it. Everything, especially sound, right? Speech, it's all frequency, and that's why it spells, right? Spelling spells is because frequency is what creates the world around us. So certain frequencies given off by our voices create certain things. And that's what they call harmony, harmonics, frequency. It's all throughout our language, right?
Bear's just going to give us a little demo here with all the weird and wonderful creations he's made to play this beautiful instrument, this 80-inch golden gong.
I could feel that. Anyone else? Could you feel that? That was a good feeling, right? It was making me smile. Leave your comments. How did that make you feel? But how cool is that, right? And frequency, just like we saw with the baby, like frequency is harmonious, right? It makes you feel good. It affects your body because you are frequency. And of course, frequency was huge, in the old world. Tartaria, there's evidence of it everywhere that they were using frequency for healing, for harmony, for structuring water, for many different things, right? Because they understood that everything is frequency. And of course, that's where science falls down massively. They do not believe in the ether. They don't believe in the fifth state of matter, right? That there is energy that binds us all.
All right, gather around, children. Now, everything has a frequency. Everything vibrates at a particular frequency. This includes something that I mentioned the other day, human emotion. And we know this. This is fact. It's scientifically proven. And we've known this forever. In 5000 BCE, the ancients understood emotion as vibration and frequency. This is where chakras and energy centers come from. Each one is associated with an emotion, a center, and a frequency. For example, the root chakra that is grounding is at 256. The sacral is creativity, that's 288. Will is your solar plexus, that's 320. Your third eye and intuition center is 426. This is all very well known. See, they used chanting and mantras at these pitches to harmonize with each part. In ancient Chinese medicine, emotions were linked to organs. For example, anger is liver, fear is kidneys, grief is lungs. Disharmony or off frequency is what leads to illness. It really gives you a new opinion on our medicine. That we are so far behind the times. I mean, imagine this. All of these things, this stuff we can't cure, things that no matter what we do and try to treat, don't get treated. But maybe this is why these things didn't exist in the ancient worlds. There are a lot of other reasons, our food being one of them. And there's no way to get away from it. Like, it's everything. No matter what you buy or where you go, even the organic stuff is like this. But that's a different video. Anyways, disharmony or off frequency is what leads to disease and illness. Sound was also used in other ways. For example, at wartime, battle cries, war drums, war horns. Sounds were used both to heal, like temple chimes, gongs, and bowls, but also to inflame courage and fear in battle. You see, tying this all together, the ancients knew what frequency to do things at. You use this sound to do this. You want to install fear? Blow a horn at a specific frequency. Like, this is all real, no bullshit. I mean, when you look at it through this lens, ancient cultures were so much more advanced than we are. And I'm not saying that Western medicine is bad. It's a needed thing. But it's not the end-all be-all that it's made out to be. In the 1930s, Wilhelm Reich talked about emotional energy stored inside the body. Early heart-brain research shows that calm states equal coherent heart rhythms. Stress equals chaotic signals. This is why the heart and the brain are two of the most important things when it comes to resonance. The heart is the vital life force. It's the pump. It pumps blood everywhere you need it. Your brain is the quantum operating system. It runs the whole thing. You see, at this point, propaganda then became involved. Rallies, music, lighting. This was used to elicit in a specific emotion. Gives you a whole new look on marketing, huh? Round face history, dude! Yeah. You talk about all this stuff, but you history teacher. What's your point? Where did this show up in history? Bro, I pointed out where it showed up in ancient cultures. That long time ago, what about today? I'm getting to it. You see, this all came around towards the 1950s, which at that time the Cold War was heating up. And there was a lot of concern about the Soviets doing things, using this kind of information. Now, because of this, the CIA got involved. This spurred research into drugs, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, and frequency-based methods. This started as Project Artichoke, then turned into Project Bluebird. Now these two projects are also known as MK Ultra. Bingo. Now see, here's the terrifying thing about MK Ultra. It's real. Generally, when it comes to projects with the CIA, they're conspiracy theories or they're whispers. Things that we know are there but have never officially been confirmed. That's not the case here. MK Ultra is so terrifying because it's confirmed. It's been proven. We know they did this. In MK Ultra, frequency and vibration were used to manipulate emotions. Sensory deprivation, white noise, rhythmic sound. Subjects were isolated and exposed to rhythmic noise or pulsing. This broke down mental defenses, heightened suggestibility, and primed people for hypnosis. Subliminal audio was embedded under music. Hidden tonal or verbal cues were placed beneath the music tracks. This bypasses conscious awareness. You see, repeated frequency patterns can induce mood shifts or implanted suggestions. Don't believe me? This is how the Awakened History Teacher music works. I take what sounds and what frequencies I want and I layer them in. For example, for grounding is the bass frequency. When you hear that thumping, that's at 7.83. Different parts of the music are layered in with different frequencies. So you're getting it, but you're not hearing it. It's used today. It's how marketing agencies get you to choose a specific product. They layer stuff in there that you don't even hear. I mean, seriously, think about it. Have you ever sat there and all of a sudden thought, gee, I really want a Hershey bar? Is it because you want the Hershey bar? Or is it because something triggered the sound that's underneath it that your brain associated with the Hershey bar? Like, this is no bullshit. This is used every day. MK Ultra also found that low frequency sound under 20 hertz creates a sub-audible vibration. This was delivered via speakers or environments. This created dread, nausea, panic without the subject knowing why. It destabilizes emotional vibration and elicits fear and compliance. Are we seeing why this project is so terrifying? Why we need good, healthy frequency and vibration? This is how they control us, guys. These are the tools that they deploy. You see, MK Ultra used history, ancient history, what shamans and priests used to do to alter consciousness and help, and turned it into a weapon. Here's even more terrifying. Most files on MK Ultra were destroyed in 1973. It's supposedly shut down. Supposedly. Or it followed a page from the Roman playbook. The Roman Empire never died, it became a church. You get where I'm going with that. You see, in the 1997, Masaharu Emoto's water experiments show that positive words and emotions create order in water. Negative emotions distort them. Like, all emotions have a frequency range. This experiment proved that. Shame and humiliation are 20 to 30 hertz. Fear and anxiety is 100 hertz. Anger and hatred is 150. Notice the trend, they're all low-level spectrum. However, acceptance and reason is 250 to 310. Love and compassion is 500 to 540. Joy and gratitude is 540 to 600. And peace and enlightenment is 700 to 1,000. Every emotion has a frequency. The Heart Math Institute then confirmed that emotions alter the heart's electromagnetic field. Measurably. But then the military weaponized it. LRADs, or long-range acoustic devices, project sound and confusion directly into heads. Infrasounds are used in crowd control. And these are all prototypes. They call them the Voice of God projects. No bullshit. However, what are the big takeaways here? Emotions are frequencies, tuning the body's electromagnetic field. High vibration heals. Low vibration traps us in survival mode. See, the science of resonance is not new. In the ancient times, it was used to elevate. MK Ultra used it to manipulate and weaponize. You see, guys, this is not that hard. It's been sitting right in front of us the whole time. You see, one of the biggest lies we've ever been told, we use every day, when you say it's not that simple. Yeah, anything and everything really is just that simple. This is no different. You see, from where I sit, the world is not broken. You are not broken. Everything is just out of tune. The world, you, it really is just that simple. And with that being said, thanks for watching. Best way to support me is to like, comment, or share my videos. OneAncientEarth.com. Merch store, Discord, Vibe PEMF device, Vagu Vibe VNS device, Discord, Patreon, and natural stone jewelry. Stay posted there. We got our hands on some pearls. Real ones. And be nice, be kind, be patient.
Well, yes, I agree with pretty much everything he says, right? I mean, illness is dis-ease, right? The frequency's been, it's got static in it, right? It's not going easily. And, of course, again, like you said, this is all throughout the old world, the ancient world. They understood this. And now, well, in the ancient world, they understood it and they used it for us, right? To create a harmonious civilization. Now they use it against us to create disharmony. And it's everywhere, right? Like the orchestras all in the old cathedrals. And don't we orchestrate ourselves? Compose yourself. There's all these frequency terms in our language. Tune in. They just weren't on my vibe. I didn't vibe with them. They weren't on my level. And of course, when we pass over, we decompose, right? We decompose because what is the universe? The one verse, right? The one song. We are frequency, vibration, music. It's all the same thing.
In 1995, Dr. Masaru Emoto was the first one to record musical impressions on water. In Dr. Emoto's laboratory, they presented water with different types of music, after which they froze the water and then under the microscope could clearly see the crystals that the water had formed. Here, we see crystallized distilled water, before music is introduced, and now the transformation, when it is exposed to Mozart. This is how water responded to Beethoven. If water gets sick or dies, what we see changes dramatically. We can see how water reacts to a computer, a television set, to hard rock, a microwave oven, a cell phone.
Water, yeah, that had Dr. Emoto at the start, of course, who's done all the experiments on water and basically proving that water has memory and that our intention, right, our frequency puts memory into the water. And when you freeze it, you get geometric shapes, which basically it's the same as cymatics. They get more intricate, these geometric shapes, as you go up in frequency. And so this is the thing, a lot of people say we're in a spiritual war. I think we're in a frequency war. I think, the parasite, right, the demiurge, the archon, whatever you want to call it, is trying to lower our frequency. And we see this through the music, we see this through everything, right? Like, especially today in 2025, everything looks like a faint photocopy of what is real, right? Everything's just getting more and more in the 2D world, more and more produced, more and more AI, less and less human creativity. And so this is the real war we're up against. So as we saw in that other video, it's time to raise your vibration just by getting in different states like love, compassion, gratitude. These are the things that will really change the world that we inhabit. Yeah, sorry if that got a bit high pitched for your ears. But that's cool, right? That's cymatics. That's just sand, like you saw, thrown on a steel plate that they're playing frequency through. And I find it really interesting that the shapes completely change. They don't just, change a little bit as it's going up. The whole shape, the whole expression changes, which just, is proof, right, that all frequency has its own geometry and its own sound, its own color. It's, everything is frequency in various expressions, right? And, a lot of those symbols we've seen around before. You see them in cathedrals. There was one there that looked like a sort of cross. That's on like a Sumerian glyph, and this is what we see in the cathedrals, right? With all these different motifs that we see on the outside, on the facading, we see very similar shapes and geometry across all of them. And the reason I think that is because they're the healing frequencies. Because in my mind, cathedrals are machines. They're healing machines. They're not made, to worship an outside force in. They're more to be one with that ether force, that God force, if you like, and that heals us. It creates harmony. That's why they have choirs and organs, right, to heal your organs. Bells, it's all frequency.
People should look into cymatics. This was done in cathedrals, which I thought was really cool. There was a fellow who took a device, went into cathedrals, and saw that the stained glass windows in the cathedrals were emitting the same picture on his device as the stained glass windows. The sound resonance in which we can't hear is actually being impacted by the materials and the colors and everything that's with it. So when you get into sound frequency, people can look into cymatics. There's lots of fellows who've done different things with cymatics. They take plates of salt and they show how different pictures and different graphics are created with sound. Each different sound can heal a different organ. This is where you get into like sound therapy, sound healing. They do the things with the bells and they do things with the drums and the tuning forks. Back in the 1920s and 30s in Germany, they would do tuning forks. They put tuning forks up and down the body, and that's how they would begin to heal the person. They would find a spot that was stuck, and they would bring that tuning fork right to there. They'd hold it there until it cleared, and then they'd move it down. But when you get into plants too, certain frequencies of music can be very beneficial, and then certain ones can be detrimental. We're going to talk about Wilhelm Reich. Have you looked into this man? You should. If you have not, I highly recommend you look into all of his work. But he created the Orgone box, which was this box that they used to heal all these different ailments, including heart disease, arthritis, and thousands of other ailments in just 15 minutes, sitting inside this box. This box was actually stacked together with different types of materials which would resonate and pull in the energy from all around us. He carefully constructed the Orgone accumulator that concentrates Orgone energy or life energy, chi, prana, life force, and it had incredible effects on his patients. So incredible that all of his inventions were shortly banned in about the 1950s, and he was actually sentenced to prison where he died in 1957. Think about that. What's more crazy is we have walks for solutions, but we have a solution. It's almost like this three-letter agency didn't want to have a solution so it can keep making money.
Indeed. And that was Matt from Cultivate Elevate, who's done a lot of really good research into frequency, vibration, health, healing, all that kind of stuff, the old world. So check out his channel. And, Orgonite, he was talking about Orgone energy. I was at the Bosnian Pyramid in 2023. And yeah, that they've actually and they've done many scientific readings there, and they've found an Orgone beam, a beam of Orgone energy shooting out the top of the Pyramid of the Sun in Bosnia. So that's interesting. And of course, Orgonite's great stuff. We actually went the other night and we gifted some Orgonite to one of the 5G towers around here. And it suppresses the frequencies giving out. So, obviously those frequencies, that's part of the weapon, right? That they've weaponized frequency. 5G towers. So, if you want to calm down that energy and displace it a bit, Orgonite, get some Orgonite. You can make your own. There's videos everywhere. It's easy to do, or you can buy it. And also tuning forks. They talked about tuning forks and healing, and I have many. They're just behind me there. So orgonite, there's some of mine. I've got lots of orgonite. So a pyramid there, that's basically a tower buster, what we call tower busters. They're just small ones you can throw. And so yeah, get into that. I'll leave a link below because one of my friends, Cameron, is very well versed in orgonite and he creates really good stuff. So I'll leave that link, and I'm also going to be doing an interview with him on my main channel, AutoDidactic, in the next couple of weeks. So keep an eye out for that. And tuning forks. These are cool ones because you can hang them above. But this is I've got quite a few of these as well for healing. So if you're interested in that, I'll leave a link for those below as well. Go and check it out.
The truth is in plain sight, folks. Look at what they're doing to this water tower. The frequency is being manipulated with multiple 5 or 6 or 8G towers, okay? This is the game that they're playing. It's a frequency war. It's the silent war against you. It's hidden in plain sight, okay? This is the water that we use. This is the water that most people drink. Hope you're not drinking tap water, but we're showering with this water. We're using this water to clean our food. We're doing a lot with this water. There's no reason to have this much radiation on a water tower. It doesn't make sense, folks. Wake up.
What you're seeing here is water memory. You can do this experiment yourself just by showing an image to water for around 30 seconds and then freezing the water, and you will see a reflection of the image you showed it. This proves that water holds memory. It has consciousness. This is because water can change its structure depending on the vibrations it comes into contact with. This is where things start to get a bit crazy with words. Placing the word schizophrenia in water and then freezing it shows this image of a double-faced person. This proves that water is intelligent and is reacting to vibrations of the words. Now that you understand this concept, what do you think happens when you are drinking Monster Energy, or with cans which imprinted the word of death? You are drinking crystallized water with the imprinted vibration of death. You are filling 70% of your body, which is water, with the vibration of death. Tap water is mixed with sewage and all sorts of toxins inside of these facilities. Although they may remove some of the toxins from the water, the crystallized vibration of this water is still very bad. The ancients didn't just build beautiful water fountains for no reason.
Ah, yes, the frequency war. And the 5G tower that we went and gifted some orgonite to the other day is on the top of a water tower. And I've seen many of them. So let me know, are there any water towers you've seen around you that they're doing this with? Because this is why they're putting the towers on the water, to change the frequency. Because as we've learnt, water holds memory. And like you said, you know, we're all drinking good water these days, right? I'm hoping no one's drinking from the tap anymore. But we still, you know, shower in this stuff and wash in this stuff and water the garden, right? So yeah, I'm sure there's devices. I haven't heard of any, but I mean, I'm thinking orgonite and different things around the water pipes might help, but let me know if you know anything about that. And of course, they changed all the water pipes from copper to plastic. And so they've literally been deconstructing the old world that was built for us to keep us in harmony and resonance. They've deconstructed it and they've turned it into a weapon against us. Crazy stuff. But in the end, we have intention. We are more powerful than, you know, the Archon, the demiurge. So as long as we keep it, you know, high vibrations and we look for the beauty and the good in life, then we're going to be fine, because everything is frequency. Everything's a sine wave. And we're coming out of a negative dip, right, in the sine wave and going up to the positive, because that's what resets and cycles are. It's just a sine wave of frequency. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that deep dive on frequency and how it affects us, because we are all frequency and everything is frequency. So please give me a like, subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know your thoughts. And also don't forget, I have another channel, my main channel, just AutoDidactic. I'll leave the link below in the description. And we've actually, well, I've got a podcast, Tartari Australia, and we've just launched a newspaper. And this is something we've done to help get people out of the 2D world, right? The 2D world, the internet can be useful, but it's not healthy if we're spending all our time scrolling and, you know, believing all this stuff, all the news, right? All this fear mongering, because unless it's happening to you, it's not your experience. So don't put your focus on it, right? Because everything's frequency. But if you're interested in finding out more about a newspaper, I'll leave the link for that below as well. So lots of links today, but they're always in the description below. So check them out. All right, guys. Well, thanks for spending some time with me. have an amazing day. Keep that frequency and vibration high, and I'll talk to you all on the next upload. Bye for now.
You've never actually touched anything in your entire life. Not the ground beneath your feet, not the phone in your hand, not even the person you love most. Want to know why? Everything in the universe, everything, is made of atoms. Tiny, invisible building blocks that make up you, me, and everything around us. But here's the catch. Atoms are 99.9999% empty space, or what we perceive as empty space, even though it isn't really empty, but that's another story. Anyway, if you zoomed in on one, you'd barely see anything at all. So why does the world feel solid? Here's where it gets crazy. Each atom has a tiny force field of electrons spinning around it like a protective bubble. And when two atoms get close, like the atoms in your hand and the atoms in a wall, they push against each other. It's like trying to shove the same ends of two magnets together. No matter how hard you try, they won't touch. What you feel as touch is just the force of those atoms repelling each other. Literally. You've never touched anything. Ever. But here's the real kicker. The atoms in that wall. The atoms in your body. They're not solid or still. They're vibrating, constantly. And the slower something vibrates, the more solid it feels. What you call solid is just energy, moving so slowly that your senses are tricked into thinking it's real. So what you call touch is just energy interacting with energy. What you call solid is just vibrations moving slow enough for your senses to believe it's real.